welcome back into the morning show. With us this morning, our guest is Ann Searcy Banneman. She is running for, or not running for, well, yeah, basically, you are a candidate for probate judge.
Yes.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us this morning.
It's nice to be here.
We want to learn a little bit about you. I've seen your signs around, and I thought,
That's good.
Ann, I love the name Ann with an E. Explain to us a little bit, well, before we get into that, why you decided to run. Tell us about your family.
Well, okay. Right now, we live in the same house. We've got my parents, which are in their 70s. My grandmother, who's just turned 93, is living with us.
Wonderful.
And I have my teenage son, who's 16, and he goes to Coleman High School.
Wonderful.
And if I could, Donnie, it's time to go to school.
Get up and go.
Yeah. But
that is fabulous.
Yeah, we originally were from here.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents were from the Jones Chapel area,
Okay.
the Tuckers and Posies.
Okay.
On the other side, my grandmother is from down by Johnson's Crossings, Sugar Ridge,
Okay.
and that was Esther Searcy. She was a
Okay.
Jones. And my Papa Searcy, he was actually from Joppa till his parents remarried, and then he ended up also in Jones, down in Johnson's Crossings.
In Johnson Crossing.
Yeah.
Okay, so your entire family's from here.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
So
I was actually
you're
born in
back
Bessemer.
Okay.
And when my dad retired, we were all looking to come back here to be close to my grandmother's. And so we looked around and we decided to come back to Coleman. And the rest is history. We've been here about 13 years now.
Okay.
And I wanted a good place to raise my son.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't find any place better.
No, you really
You
can't.
know.
Coleman's a great place to raise
Yeah,
children, isn't
yeah.
it? So he's 16. That's
Oh,
wonderful.
yes, he's 16.
And I think it's so wonderful that your folks are with you and your grandmother, because that's something, used to everybody did that, but people don't do that as much anymore. But I
No.
think it's wonderful.
I think it's moving back towards that,
I
because
think
people
so.
really treasure their parents
Family.
and their grandparents now.
Absolutely, they should, shouldn't
Yeah.
they? Talk to us a little bit about your experience. I know you're an attorney.
Yes.
How long and what kind of law have you practiced?
Well, actually, I'm a recycled attorney. I had
Okay.
a career for 20 plus years before I even started back to college.
Okay.
So when we moved here, I was helping my brother and my dad flip houses. But, I had managed offices, I had supervised 30 plus people. And when I got back here, I wanted to try something different. So I decided I was going to go to Wallace and be part of the paralegal program.
Right.
And really, that was as far as I was going. But when I got there, I realized there were some things that paralegals can't do. They're not allowed to set fees. They're not allowed to give legal advice. They're not allowed to actually represent clients.
Right.
Otherwise they can be charged with a crime, which is the unlawful practice of law.
Okay.
So I found that I really loved law. I loved reading the cases. When I'd be doing homework, I would read one case, then I'd read the one after it, then I would just keep going. And so I decided to go on. I went
That's
to
great.
Athens, and I got a bachelor's degree in justice studies and political science. Then I went to law school at Cumberland School of Law. And when I came out from there, I had always wanted to come back and practice here. It was never about the money. It was always about
Right.
coming back here and trying to make sure that there were some good attorneys, because I had a bad experience with an attorney
Right.
before I started back to school. And I thought there needs to be at least a couple that people can trust and rely
Right.
on. So I came back to practice here,
Okay.
and for the last 2 years I've been running my own law firm.
Okay.
I was a solo practice attorney.
Okay.
Basically, I specialized in domestic relations,
Okay.
juvenile cases, criminal cases, anything where I thought it would make a difference.
Right.
I've had a couple of mentally handicapped cases where they need guardians and conservators.
Right.
A guardian is in charge of the person, and a conservator is in charge of their money if they can't handle their business.
Okay.
And, I got into that through DHR. They
Okay.
called and asked if I wanted to take on one. Then I ended up with 5.
Did you really?
Yeah. Because you get in there and you hear these
Yeah.
these stories, and it's just
So,
heart-wrenching.
It really is. I don't think most people realize that does happen, and there's a multitude of them at any given time, I think, in our community.
Yes.
Now, that is something that the probate judge's office oversees
Yes.
a lot of those
Yes.
cases, don't they?
Yes. And that's one of the biggest things I wanted to get in and try to work on. As it stands right now, if you have somebody who needs a conservator and they have an estate, they actually have money,
Right.
well, the judge can find attorneys who are willing to take it on, because you do get a small fee out of it.
Right.
But if you have somebody who only gets disability or they get Social Security, then if nobody steps up and wants to volunteer, you know, the ones that I took were mostly free. I had
Okay.
5 of them, and I spent over 200 hours on one case
My
for the
goodness.
past year and a half.
But so many people don't want to step up.
Right. Well, they can't because
Okay.
with the way the
The time
economy is right
constraint.
now, everybody's struggling,
Mhm.
and if there's nobody that steps up, it defaults to the sheriff.
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
the sheriff is being, you know, using
And
their
he has
dollars.
a lot of 'em.
Yes. And he's using, you know, he wants to use his money for
Honestly.
patrolling.
Mhm.
You know, he wants to be protecting people, not sitting there
Exactly.
writing checks.
Right.
And there's a couple different things that can be done in the probate judge's office. You know, there's supposed to be a county conservator
Right.
that can be appointed.
Mhm.
There's a corporation, there's a nonprofit corporation statute
Right.
that can allow it to be created with mental health.
Mhm.
And, you know, a couple things like that which would relieve the burden off the sheriff, but also provide a service for the
Right.
people that really
And
need
those
it.
folks really need it.
Right,
I mean, there's so many of them that,
right,
like you said, they don't have family and they don't have any monies
right,
and are small on a fixed income actually.
right. So
So-
they're sort of just, they fall through the cracks
Right.
sometimes.
So this is things that you plan to, if elected, you plan to really concentrate
Yes.
in these areas.
Yes.
Is there anything else in the office that stands out to you that maybe needs a little bit more attention or you plan to work on?
Yeah, there is, there's a trend toward having a probate judge that has a law degree.
Right.
There's about 25% of the counties have moved towards a judge who's also an attorney.
Okay.
And in several of those counties, a bill has been passed
Mhm.
which allows the probate judge to have the same authority as a circuit court judge for matters that have to be removed to circuit court.
Right.
So instead of clogging up the system as far as, you know, having something removed to circuit court, you know, the taxpayers are paying for the circuit court judge.
Right.
Plus you've got, you know, more time and cost for the people that are actually involved.
Right.
You know, it may be something where they're trying to settle an estate of a loved one,
Right.
or it might be an incompetent adult who needs protection, who's being taken advantage of.
Right.
You know, those things can be handled in probate
Okay.
where they originate, so it's a lot more efficient, it's quicker, you know, and
Okay.
it's all handled by the same person,
By the same person.
which is the probate judge.
Which is so important, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
it needs to be, that's just an important thing, I think. We encourage everyone, Ann, to go out and vote. It's amazing when you start doing these races, of running for different positions, you realize how many people don't go out and vote, and it
Yes.
really is discouraging. But we
Yes.
encourage you folks, coming up so quickly, March the 13th,
Yes.
to go and vote. And is there anything you'd like to add this morning? I want to give you an opportunity to encourage folks not only to just go vote, but to come vote for you.
Sure. Well, for starters, if you go to my website, which is annforprobate.com,
Okay.
I've got links to the registration forms from the Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
I carry them with me. If you ever see me and you need one, I have one in my bag.
Okay.
My son carries them to school.
Great.
He's registered about 5 of the seniors
See, this
that are
is
in his
great.
classes. You know, he'll come home and say, "Mom, I got you another vote."
Registered.
Yes.
Yes, that is so great.
So, you know, it's absolutely important
It is
that,
so important.
you know, it doesn't matter who you vote for as long
right.
as you
See,
take the
exactly.
time to research your candidates and vote for who you want to.
Right.
Because they should put at least as much effort in looking for a candidate as they do getting a babysitter.
Exactly.
Because this is a position that we're going to be paying for 6 years no matter who's involved.
Exactly.
And it, you know, it makes sense if you're going to, if it's the same money.
A candidate for probate judge, and there again, it's give us your website again, Ann.
It's annforprobate.com.
All right. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And of course, with us this morning, Ann Cersei Banneman. We'll be back with more right after this.